Hi there. I'm sure you must have heard this statement before. God's time is the best. That statement is true. However, for you to be able to make that statement, it means you must know God's time. If you don't know God's time, you have no right to make that statement. Until you know God's time, that is when you can boldly say God's time is the best. I agree. God's time is the best. A lot of times that statement is made when maybe things are not going according to plan, or things haven't happened as expected yet. And people use it to sometimes console and to lend a bit of patience to say, well, God's time is the best. We might not be able to explain everything that is happening, but we know that God makes all things beautiful in His own time. That is true. And I agree. God's time is really the best. When God's time comes, even you will know, because everything just aligns. However, for a man to be able to say that, he must really understand what God's time means. If you don't know God's time, you must not say God's time is the best. You don't have the right to say it. Why? A lot of times people use it as a consoling factor, as a consoling measure to console themselves, as a form of consolation for why something has not happened yet, or why things are not going the way they planned it. So people just say it just as some form of consolation. Avoid that state. You don't say it just as a form of consolation. Say it with understanding, so that when you say it, you actually know and understand what you're saying. What do I mean? When a man says God's time is the best, that means that man must know God's time. Let me explain it this way. If I'm sitting maybe I lodge in a hotel and I'm sitting in the hotel lounge, ready to depart, and there's a fellow guest who also wants to depart, and both of us have a flight, and maybe his flight is at 10 a.m. and mine is at 12 noon. Now, while we are both seated at the lounge, maybe he calls his transporter, hey, pick me up at 9. I have a flight for 10. Now, we are both in the lounge and someone comes to pick him up at 9. Because I know that his flight is for 10 a.m., I have assurance and say, nobody's leaving me behind. My time is my time. Your time is your time. They take him, he goes to pick up his flight at 10 a.m. Nobody's worried. Why? Because I know that my flight is for 12 noon. The moment it gets to 11, and how before, I call my taxi person, hey, pick me up. I need to be at the airport very soon. And he comes, picks me up. The only reason why I can have no sense of regret, jealousy, or any form of animosity, or any form of he's leaving me behind, or any of such feelings is simply because I know his time is not my time, and I know my time. But I'm not just saying that because I'm hoping that my time will come later. No, it's because I can see it on my phone that 12 noon, on my ticket, that 12 noon is my time. That knowledge and understanding is what gives me that confidence that my time is coming. So before you say God's time is the best, go and ask God, what is my time? When God reveals your time to you, then you can come out and boldly with your full chest and say, God's time is the best. God said, Deborah, by this time next year, I will turn to you according to the time of life. You will have a son. There was a definite time. There was a time frame. And this is what people don't understand about God. God doesn't work arbitrarily. You can see God to know your time. God can define to you and say, well, you will do a lot of work, you'll do a lot of things. However, between your 20s and your 30s, you won't really have a lot of big breaks. But once you enter into 35 or once you cross 40, your big breaks will begin to come. Another person might be 25 for that person. But when you have that knowledge of what God has told you about the times and seasons of your life, then it gives you a form of confidence that nobody can give you. Why? You know truly that yes, God's time is the best, but you don't just know God's time is the best. You actually then know what is called God's time for your own life. And so I will leave you with this. Seek God. And when you are seeking God for your purpose and every other thing, also seek Him for the times and seasons of your life. This is just like one thought out of the whole teaching I have on times and seasons. I hope I'm able to record a full session one of these days. But I know that even this will bless someone for now. Times and seasons are very important. God's time is the best, I agree. But do you know God's time? God bless you.